What's up, this is Jake with VFX to go, and this is another breakdown of the breakdown, where we scrub through VFX show reels from some of the best visual effects studios in the film industry. For those of you who don't know me, I've been a visual effects producer, supervisor, and artist for going on 2 decades now, and one of my favorite things to do when I'm scrolling through YouTube is to check out VFX show reels from some of my favorite shows and movies, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Today we're looking at a reel by Framestore for Jack Ryan's Season 4. Let's check it out. All right, this is a great shot right out the gate. It's an exterior establishing shot, and let's back it up to see the original plate. Okay, first thing they've done here is not even a visual effect shot. They flopped the shot. They flipped it horizontally. You can tell by looking at these posters that are up there. All the text seems to be backwards, but that's not important. That's really for composition purposes. At the top right, they also have a big light source, probably to simulate moonlight. Now, let's see. The first thing they did was erase this poster in the center and erase the source of the light above the trees. The next thing they did was change the posters into flags. This is something that I've done often. You can do a little bit of set dressing in post-production as well, so good work here. Similarly, right here, you have another location. It's a coffee shop. The first thing they did was change this clock on the left to something different. Probably just an aesthetic choice, but they've changed the clock. It looks like they've already, right where the line is, you can see that there's already some set decorations that they've put in practically. But something like the sign where it says Scruton, it could be a little more difficult to replace on the day. So it looks like they've opted to just change that in post-production. I believe this is a day for night shot. And it looks like that they're using a shot that's already close to dusk. So that way you have all these lights that come on at nighttime. Looks like they've done the color treatment here to bring it down. They've done another pass here, probably isolating the buildings to bring them out for the day for night shot, so that you can actually see them. And they've changed the horizon line here, and it looks great. This is a great day for night. A phone comp, very familiar with these. This is one of the things I do all the time. But as you can see here, though, what's really interesting is the photo in the background. They've changed it to a different photo. It's very similar. Could even be the same photo, but the framing is slightly off. And they probably wanted to bring it into focus more because you can see that it's a little easier to read. It's brighter, and it's slightly less out of focus than what it would be in real life, too. That's for narrative purposes, I'm sure. So, okay, this is another day for night shot here. Beautifully done. Because what they've done here, again, when you're doing day for night, it's one thing to just color correct it like this. Already, this looks great. But another level on top of that to really sell it is by adding these lights here that they've done. Because, again, at nighttime, a lot of these buildings would just have lights that turn on at nighttime. So now this looks like some sign removal. All right, now this is an effect that I didn't necessarily expect to see. But what we have here is a stand-in actor who they remove his head and replace it with one of the main actors right here. I'm assuming this is a scheduling conflict that there was maybe, but this is really well done. It looks like what they've done, rather than in some cases making a full CG head and putting it on someone else, I'm assuming he's just recreating the steps on a green screen stage with matched lighting, and it really holds up. That presents a whole nother set of challenges in and of itself. You see they put tracking markers around his collarbone or along his neck. And that is, that's so they have some reference about moving and so they can track his head properly to the stand-in's body. And you can even see in this case right here, their bodies don't line up perfectly, but as we wipe through it, you can see the collar really hides some of those crimes right there. And it actually sells pretty well when it's color treated correctly. You'd never know. And look, I'm going to scrub through it right here because I want to see it. Looks like the shadow from the cart he's in seems to turn itself on. There probably wasn't anything there on the set with the on the green screen stage to create that shadow for him, so they probably just dialed down the levels and then brought them back up. But I think it works for this. This one right here, the edges look a little bit funny, but again, because you're not expecting this this effect and it's going by so quickly, you're not looking for it. It sells in the moment. But under scrutiny, like right here, this one, it serves its purpose. It works like when you play in real time like that, but you can see there's some funny business with the scale of his head, the colorization of it. It's close. It's very, very close, but it's not perfect. But the thing is, again, when you're watching it in real time, you're not thinking about it. And as long as it doesn't draw attention to itself, you've done a good job. This shot right here, they changed the exterior of the car probably to line up with the continuity of the scene. Pretty straightforward. I love this one right here. When he shoots the spear gun, they've created an entire 3D model of this character that's getting hit by the spear. And they do this for two reasons. One, for tracking, and two, so they can have the proper shadows cast on the spear itself too. So when they place it in the scene, it will blend better right there with it. So as you can see on the left, there's shadows because the guy is lit from the left of the frame. And so there would be a shadow across the spear in his chest. So now this is a fun one. They've added these buttons to this part of the car. Whether that's for continuity or for story, I'm not sure. But this is a pretty straightforward 2D comp. But they do a great job of matching the shadows and the specular light that's coming off of the surface of it. And here's some effects you wouldn't expect to have to deal with, but these are the sort of things that we run into all the time too. Fixes for continuity. Now, right here, you can see that whole panel that he pulled off in the previous shot. This is the original plate. As you can see, there's no buttons on it either, but that's not the effect that they're doing here. It's facing the wrong way. So they actually had, as we scrub through it, you can see that they've replaced the whole thing with probably a CG version of it, or maybe just some photography they did that they tracked onto it. But no, it's actually probably rendered because you can see the shadows moving as it's swaying. And as we can see, like if I go back to this shot here, if this is in the correct continuity of the edit, you can see how he's turning the panel away from the right. So it should be facing the opposite direction. But it probably, on the day, spun around, somebody didn't notice in continuity, and then they realized, oh, we got to replace this so it doesn't look like it's flip-flopping in the middle of the scene, between takes. It might not be so bad if there was another shot in between these two shots, but because they're so close together, it's one of those things you gotta fix because it may draw attention to itself and take you out of the scene. Here we have a pretty standard muzzle flash, beautifully done. I love that they have the reflections. If you look on the car just below the muzzle of the gun, they've added, see the light and you see they've added the reflection of the muzzle flash too. That's something sometimes people forget, is when you add the muzzle flash, you have to add it to the reflective surfaces nearby too as well. If it's daytime, you don't always have to worry about getting the light to hit people properly because it's already so bright. You might, unless it's right next to something, in this case it is, then you might not have to always add light to the scene, but reflections are important. But one thing I did catch earlier is when he fires, let's look at the chamber just above the magazine. Now you see the slide kicks back, but I don't see any shells ejecting. Boom, boom, he releases. I didn't see any shells ejecting. So that's interesting. Same here. Now what's nice about this, what's cool is that they're probably shooting with an airsoft gun or something with a blowback on the pistol. But that helps sell the effect. So as we scrub through, we see they adding a little bit of light to his face and his hand. The muzzle flash itself. And they've added the smoke and the shell casing flying out. See, they've added the shell casing here. I didn't see it in the other one, but it's still amazing work they're doing. It's great. Okay, we've adding CG helicopters here. Great work. And this is wonderful. See all these wonderful, wonderful digital extras they've added here. Great work to help populate the scene. You also have to replace the chairs and everything as well, so you get the correct shadows on everybody here as well. As I'm scrumming through it, I see this woman on the top of the frame. You take a look at her hand that's on her lap. As we scrub through it, as the line passes, you see her hand changes. Hand and foot change entirely. So maybe they're using an alternate take, or maybe they're just replacing her entirely, or it's entirely possible that, I mean, this camera could be on a motion control arm, and they're just doing multiple passes with extras moved around. They could be reusing extras for this shot, and then maybe just changing their wardrobe. But in either case, actually, if you worked on the shot, hey, please drop me a line. Let me know. Here we go. More extras in the scene. Well done. And that was Jack Ryan, Season 4 by Framestore. If you like what you saw in that reel, please check out the link in the description below and give them the views that they deserve. They've done such great work on this. If you notice something that I missed, or maybe you have insight as to how any of these shots were done, please drop me a comment down below and let me know. Or if there's a visual effects breakdown that you think I got to take a look at, please let me know. I'd love to take a look at it. If you like this breakdown, please like this video and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell for notifications as to when our next video comes out. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at VFX2Go, and our website, vfx2go.com. Until next time, I'll see you on the next breakdown of the breakdown.